So alright guys, in previous videos we have seen how to determine number of columns the query is returning and in which columns we can return the string content. So in this video we will see how to query the database for the version. So this version uh, SQL in version information is very important part. So you can see the example here. After querying for the version, you can see Microsoft SQL 2016. So you can then use the exploit db or search exploit, and you can search for this especially sp2 versions. So you can see uh, uh, from having no information to this version, you can search on exploit db for you can narrow down the exploits. So it is very important step to determine the version. So here you can see Microsoft SQL and they are using this at the rate version. And Oracle, there is a table v dollar version and we are getting the all the information. And in the PostgreSQL there is a version function. Okay, I have logged in my SQL. Now what I want to show is show variables like version percentage. So it will give it is like a wild card, starting with anything and ending with anything. In between you need to have the version. So now you can see these are the some of the information, DB version and the TLS version and the version. So the version itself 5.733 Ubuntu 18, and then version comment contains the Linux distribution and compile machine contains the architecture, x86 that is 64-bit, and compiler is Linux. So you can see if you get this information, and it will be very easy to search for the exploits. Okay, so let's do this lab. Before going for this Oracle testing, let's go and type v dollar version. So you can see this is the you can go to this website and you can see the scheme of this v version table. So v version displays version numbers of core library components, and by default there is a banner. So banner is of varchar text type and of 80 bytes. So this will be enough for holding the banner information. Okay, so in v dollar version there is a banner column. Okay, so let's access the lab. Okay, in the same way we have the category parameter prone to SQL. So let's paste here, and now let me determine the total number of columns the select query is returning. Of course one column will be there. Let's go for 2. So there is a there are 2 columns. So let's say 3. So you get the error. Okay, that means we have the 2 columns. So let's say union select null comma null. It should work now. Okay, I think so. This here we need to say select from v dollar version. Now hit enter. Now you can see we got some normal 200 response, because there is already table, so v dollar version, and in that there is a banner. So what you can do is we can say if you did not specify this one and hit enter, you will get some error. Now you can, if you know the tables, you can specify like this. So you can see this is prone to SQL injection. Now what you can do is put the string A and hit enter. So that means the first column is written in the string type. So now let's change the second column. So that means two columns are the string type. So what I can do is I can just simply get the banner null from $version. Now we should see the banner. So you can see core and this version Oracle 11G and period SQL version. So we have successfully completed this setup. So you need to specify this one if removing this one did not work. Okay. So in the solution they have specified another this one doer. So you can also search for the doer. So doer is a default database that comes when installing the Oracle 11G. So you can take advantage of this if like this, if without from statement it gives any error, then you can use this one. So now let's go and find the version of the MySQL. Okay, now let's type gifs, copy this, and let's go and open in Firefox. Okay, now in the same way let's determine the columns. That means there is only one column. I should think so. Oh, I think only one column. Of course this will work. So okay, let's sometimes these give some error. So let me run the burp. Okay, send to repeater. So here let's right click on this, your encode as you type space order by 2 and send. So you can see the browser got the 500 but the burp got 200. So it's always better to use burp. Maybe there is some JavaScript, I don't know. So there are two columns. Let's change it to 3 and send. So internal server, so there are two columns. Okay, there are two columns. Let me delete this. Select Let's try for the first column whether it is string or not. Let's send the request, and you can see the first column is a string. Okay, first column is a string, so that should be enough for us to get the information. So what they are asking is to get the version. So version, so we got the solved, and we should see the version below. So you can see 8023. So this is the how you find the version. Now let's go and copy this version comment. I think version comment should be fine. So let's send the request, and you can see MySQL community server GPL and version compile machine. Version and compile machine, send the request. So down you can see x86 is 64, so it is also running the 64-bit, and you can say compile OS, send the request. Now you can see Linux. So in this way you can use the burp suite to determine the SQL version and also the OS information. Okay, so let's keep this page on. Let's close this. Now we are going to write the Python script to automate this process. So in the previous video we have seen the finding the columns using the order injection and then finding the string columns. So I have changed some, just added the return, and you can see SQLs. So let's def enumerate oracle and URL comma n, so that you can say print finding if it's oracle or not. Okay, once you can see what we have done is select banner from $version. So it's similar to the finding string, but we will add the $version at the end. So we have already found the number of columns by using this order injection or null injection. So it will remove this ending comma, and it will be, if n is equals to 3, it will be null comma null comma null, and then need to one comma n plus 1, and then what you need to do is you need to generate the URL. That's final query is equals to the query should be like this. From $version. Okay, So we need to first replace this null with this here. So let me do that. So we have just generated the null. We need to replace this, press nth of query. What the string you need to replace? Null with say a and ith occurrence. So every time we loop over this 1 to n plus 1, that is the number of columns, we are placing at that position in this null. So and then final URL is equals to URL plus union select plus final query and plus from v.version and then the comment. So r is equals to request.get of final URL. Okay, now we got the response. So if r dot status code is 200, then print of r dot text. Okay, I don't think we need to print out the anything because we are simply testing a, right? So I can say print column is string type. Let me first make a string type a list. So whenever we found the particular ith column is a string type, we are going to append the value of I to this list. Okay, after this for loop has been completed, we will get the list which contains all the ith column or the number of columns that are string type. So now what you can choose is you can just say final. So we need to replace this a with banner, right? So it should be banner from v.version. So query is still null and final query is equals to replace nth. In this query replace null with our banner, comma let's say first occurrence, because 1 is the minimum occurrence, right? Now what you can do is final URL is equals to URL plus, so you can copy this one. So r is equal request dot get of final URL. If r dot status code is 200, then print r dot text. I think I missed something. Oh, instead of 1 we need to say string type of 0, because we don't know that either the first column is string or not, but the first one in the string type list is definitely string type because we have found in this loop. So now order injection of URL, let us change the URL. Finding the columns. Okay, and then string columns. Let me delete this one, or just put the comment. We are going to enumerate this oracle, right? Enumerate oracle of URL comma calls. Okay, I think this should work. So let's run this. List index out of range. List index out of range. Number of columns are 0. Okay, maybe this should time out. Let us access the lab again. So guys, if you are idle on this lab for few minutes, it will time out, so make sure you refresh from time to time. So now let's run this. So so 2 columns are present, that's right. So we are getting error in this. I'm sorry, it's 500, right? Sorry for that. So okay, we got the 2 columns as a string. And after printing those string type list, we are replacing null with the banner. Let's change this final query 1. So here we are modifying it, so that will be loaded here. So let's run this again. Let me try with the second column. I don't know where it's going wrong. Let's try with quotes. So I did everything correct. So let me see the test script, so which I have done previously. So it's similar one. I don't know where did I did mistake from this one. So here I iterated over the list for the all the columns. Here I am selecting only this one. So let me try with this one. Okay, it's not working. So the problem is maybe from this side. Let's refresh. So okay, I think this code definitely works. You can just test it out. Okay, so now let's go and write the code for this SQL one. So here from the string column function we get the columns that are like, which we already know that those are the string columns. So let me say string column. Let me create the list. So it is the list. So S calls stands for string columns. So def enumerate MySQL URL comma total columns, and in those columns there are some S columns, that is the string columns. So let us again generate the null. into how many times the total number of calls, that is calls. So this one, and removing the last column. So last comma query 0 is to -1, so that will remove the ending comma. So and then we need to so we need to create the list that contains this variable name string. So I have already created this. You can see, so this is the list, my SQL DB. So let's copy that and paste into this. So MySQL DB. So you need to iterate over this database. You need to generate the request. So let's go ahead and do that. So final query is equals to query replace nth of query, let's say null, and you need to replace that with at the rate version, right? So at the rate version, and the position is scores of let's say 0. So in this list, let's say the starting one is 2, that is second column is string. So we are replacing at the second null with this at the rate version. So r is equals to request dot get of URL plus union select, and then this final query plus and normal comments. If r dot status code is 200, printing the r dot text. So let us call this function, and we need to pass the third argument scores, that is string columns. So let me copy this URL, so we need to retrieve the string 8023. So let's run this. So there are two columns. So you can see we got the request 8023. So that is about the one variable, that is version. So we need to iterate over all this to get all the information. So there is already a list, MySQL DB for I in MySQL DB. So instead of this version, what you can do is you can put I. I think this should work. So let's run this. We got 8023, 10 and TLS version, MySQL community server, and Linux 64-bit. So you can scroll up and you can see the information. So if you can observe, there is some basic request, like a default request, and in the default request we are adding some additional information. So if you scroll down, so this is normal HTML response. So we are adding this table row because we are selecting another one information. So if you remove this entire response will be normal request. So to extract only this information, we need to use regular expressions. but for now, for simplicity purpose, we will use file operations. Okay. So let's say response is equals to our request dot get of URL. So this is normal basic request without any asking additional information. So this is the normal page, this one. So what you can do is, so you need to create a file temp1.txt write mode. So f.write of resp.text and close that file. So we're writing the contents of normal request to this one, and then after getting this, instead of printing, we can say open another file f.write of r.text. So let's import the OS. So I'm going to apply the diff command on these two files. So you will get exactly the difference of the files. That means it will remove the common content. So I'm writing to this temp1 and temp2. So there are already files, those are generated from the test.py. So I have been testing the code in that. So let me remove all the text files. So after writing to this temp1 and temp2, so temp1 contains default normal request, temp2 contains additional information we are requesting in the form of this one. So now os.system of diff temp1.txt temp2.txt greater than result.txt. So the result, the difference would be stored in the result.txt. Okay. So let's go and run this. So you will not get any output. If you want to output the result of this content, you can open a file handler and you can write the output. So let's say ls cat temp1. So this is normal request. And temp2. Now you can see the request contains with additional table rows Linux. So now let's say cat result. So you can see this is the content. So pets and 8023, which is the first one, and 10, and TLS versions 8023 and 64-bit Linux. So this way you can just extract the th, you can scrape these table headers, so you get only this answer, table header. So it will be very easy for this. Okay. So that's all about for this video. We have determined the SQL version and the OS version using normal burp and the Python.